What's going on, Resilient Rebel friends? I'm here today to talk about assets and production values of a home. You see, I was looking to purchase a home, I was looking to rent a home, and it just kind of caught my attention that the type of home that I was looking for and how backwards we have it, most of us as a society. When I started looking for a home, I started looking for something with a larger backyard, something that's south-facing, that's getting sunlight, so I could actually do some production. Now, when I think about most people, they don't think about production, right? They think about, let's just get a home. So I want to talk about people who are actually, whether you're renting, you own a home, or you're even looking to purchase a home. The question I'm asking myself, and I think you should consider to yourself as well, is what value does this home bring? What's the ROI? Now, I think if we think of this in terms of investing, right? If any of you want to get ahead in life, if you have done some financial education for yourself, you know that you should invest into assets, not liabilities. We need a return on an investment, right? And when I look at a real estate investment or renting a house, I says either one of those. Going into a deal like this, if you're going to buy a home, is this a real estate investment, right? Are you investing in real estate as far as from an investment standpoint, or is this a real estate purchase, right? Same thing if is this a rental, like just for your home, or is this a place that you can actually conduct business out of as well? There's a difference between these two in the fashion of an asset or a liability. So when you're making a purchase, you're purchasing something and that's it, right? It does nothing for you. It's not making you money, right? If you own a house, I understand, guys, that it's going to go up in value pretty soon. It may go down and all that kind of things. But what is it actually doing for you as far as paying back? Like utilizing it as a tool. Why don't we start utilizing our purchases as a tool? Maybe we can diversify and do a heck of a lot more instead of just waiting for the values to go up, right? Especially if you're renting a house, you're really throwing your money away because it's not giving you anything. It's draining your pocketbook. But could we do something different? That's what I want to talk about today. How can we flip this whole thing around? Now, the very first thing that comes to my mind is growing your own food. You're going to hear that through the lifespan of this whole entire show, is why would you purchase something if you weren't able to grow your own food on it? Right? And the reason why I say this is a lot of people, in the service industry and homes and things like that, I just noticed these little backyards, mostly shaded. They're all crammed up together. When for the same price for a little bit further out, you can actually get yourself something that's a quarter an acre, even an eighth of an acre, right? Or better yet, a half an acre, or like I used to live on 5 acres, which is way more than I could even handle. But when I started looking about renting a house, I looked at for growing my own food, and I wanted a south-facing backyard for that very purpose. Guys, I went to the grocery store and I ended up I didn't buy a watermelon. It was $20. I said, yeah, that's a little too much. $20 watermelon. So one may ask yourself, well, how significant is this? What's the ROI on something like that? I don't have time to grow my own food. Yeah, I'm here to say, yes, you do. We've already done some shows on the subject matter. You should check them out. It's actually not that hard. But when you start putting into value, let's just take something so simple as like a salad, right? A $5 salad that you get at the grocery store, which is also treated with some sort of lactose dairy product to keep it from fermenting and rotting out, right? $5. Now, if you're a healthy eater, I'm just going to say, I know you're not going to eat that whole pound of salad, but you're probably going to eat at least a quarter of that, half if you're me. You're also going to introduce some other vegetables in your life if you want to live a healthy, good life, right? But let's just keep it down to just $5 a day, right? Let's look at how many days are in a week. 7. How many days are it per month? I know they vary. $5. If you're going to eat a salad every single day, do the math of where you're at $5 a day of production for food. And I'm sure you can do a heck of a lot more if you're able to produce that salad yourself, right? And not including all the tomatoes and the cucumbers and the zucchinis and things like that. And it's not just limited to gardening, utilizing the backyard. And although there's a lot more things you can do, look at the space inside your house, your countertops, to do such things as microgreens, right? And you could do microgreens outside, but you could do them inside as well. If a lot of you don't have the property, if you're stuck, you could do a lot of sprouting of seeds, but you need countertop, and you need definitely something I wouldn't want to do in your garage. Due to the temperature fluctuations, depending where you live. If it gets too cold, your stuff's not going to sprout. If it gets too hot, it may cause things to mold, and you're going to have a lot of problems. You want to have something that's pretty well regulated. Why would we not want to have a full-blown production system as big as you can go that you can handle while you're doing your job at the home that you live on? That's something that literally I can teach people to grow their own food in their backyard. It would take you maybe 10 to at the worst 20 minutes every day when you get home. Just check on the automatic water irrigation systems and things like that, and for pests, and maintain. As long as you're coming every day home from work, whether you're renting or you own a house, and checking on things, you can do a huge scale production of your own food to take that price down. So another one that I look at is auxiliary dwelling units. Now, if you're renting in this type of environment that we have in 2022, you can downsize, I would say, and get yourself into one of these auxiliary dwelling units, right? They can't charge as much as most people, for an apartment or something like that, because they're not quite as big. And it depends where you're looking at, right? What section of the country, the city, and all that. But an auxiliary dwelling unit is basically somebody converting their garage or having an entire building put in the back, like a unit built. Some people, from what I hear, are picking up mobile homes and having them craned into their backyard. They'll build off a little area. That's a auxiliary dwelling unit that you can rent, or as a homeowner can actually make your home start to cash flow, right? And this is very significant for both parties, I think, renters or homeowners. And a junior ADU, junior auxiliary dwelling unit, is when they actually take a portion of their house and garage and they'll convert that into a rental. This is happening all over the United States right now. I know we have listeners from all over the world, but here in the United States, we have a housing problem, and the government's trying to help people to figure this out, and they're actually giving incentives. A lot of the laws and everything that used to be on zoning and as far as space, I forget what they call it, setbacks and things like that, those are all out the window. All right, you still need to check with your city. But guys, if you're looking to purchase a piece of property and you were able to live in the house and turn two rentals out of that place to get it cash flowing, now you see where I'm going with all of this? That you may even pay your mortgage for you, right? You couldn't do this if you were renting a house. Although you renters might want to check out doing Airbnb. You'd have to check with the landowner, but you can literally Airbnb one of the bedrooms. And I hear people making some really good money to offset the cost of their rent. But imagine, as I compile all this information for you here today, what if you had a house that was large enough to be able to start producing your own food in your backyard? You had a junior ADU in the front of your home. You had an auxiliary dwelling unit in the back. You start adding, you're doing your microgreens, you're doing your sprouts, you're doing fermented foods and things. Look at the production that literally can come out of this thing. I mean, I can go further on how you can turn these things into businesses, which I guess we got on, next on my notes here. But yeah, tremendous. Home improvements for resale value. I think everybody knows about these things, but I think a lot of people are not savvy on how to do them themselves. They have to sub these, hire contractors to do them for them. But those of you guys like me who are handymen, who know how to build, I think this is going to be the future of the income as housing prices go up, as the price of labor goes up, labor shortages, price of materials, although materials I do foresee lumber prices going down as of here in May of 2022. I mean, guys, I just want to come out and say this. This is the best time to ever be alive. If you don't know how to fix something, YouTube it. People think I'm awfully smart. I don't know that I'm not as smart as what people think. I study what other people do, right? I'm borrowing information, watching a YouTube video. Someone shows me step by step how to rewire a fuse box or something, right? And I just follow it to the T. And of course I learned, be careful with things like that. You want to double check to make sure you're not going to electrocute yourself. But there's so much to learn, so many things you can do. And the home improvements for resale, there's used materials all the time. I forget what the Habitat for Humanity and things like that. You guys can go get free windows, doors, and all kinds of different stuff. All right, so let's get into residual income stream. So we were talking about producing our own food, right? I'm not even going into detail that if you got yourself a couple of chickens, right? Okay, you get yourself 6 hens, right? And I know what you're going to say, the feed is expensive. Okay, so what if you went and you actually sold your neighbor? Because with 6 chickens, you're going to get a lot of eggs. Now, it varies from species to species. We ain't got time to go into that, but you can literally produce over a dozen eggs a week at certain points of the year. Now, if you were able to trade that to your neighbors or sell that to your neighbors, fresh farm, and guys, go get yourself some organic eggs at wherever you want. Break it into a dish and then go get yourself a backyard raised chicken egg. Crack it open. What you're going to see is this dark, rich orange yolk, and the white part of it is the clear part is actually like jelly. It's not like water. It doesn't just, and the flavor hand in hand. So you can have somebody offset the cost of the chicken feed by selling them farm fresh to you better than organic foods, and either eliminate the grain bill so you're actually getting free eggs and essentially maybe even meat, and everything's paid for you. Now, What if we start doing this with our vegetables as well to offset the, say, neem oil and worm castings and things if you're not producing your own worm castings and compost yourself? See how that can go. It's very simple. I have 1,000% hand them a homegrown tomato. In contrast to anything they buy in the store, there's no comparison. All you got to do is find one person to be interested in that, especially vegans, vegetarian people, and tell them you will supply that for X amount of dollars, even if you just broke even, guys. So yeah, for residual income streams, I didn't get into things like kombucha. I started making kombucha that you cannot find in grocery stores anywhere. I'll share my secrets. What I did is I made kombucha that was green apple, cinnamon, and just those two ingredients right there. My second one was, let me remember this correctly, was lime, black cherry, and oh my goodness, black cherry mint. That's what it was. People went bonkers over these two ingredients, and I had people lined up to tell me. I just did an experiment like a dummy, right? A dummy experiment's what I call it. I've done these thousands of times where I gave samples to my neighbors and says, yeah, I'm selling this stuff. If you're interested, it's the same cost at the store, but you're not going to get the same quality that I've gotten. You can't even get these flavors. So if you're interested, it's $10 a bottle, right? I could have actually literally broke even, if not even made money, just off my kombucha alone. But you need countertop space and you need a controlled temperature. Too much fluctuation is not going to really help out with the fermentation process. Seedlings was another one of mine. What I've done is I've devised myself a way to grow seedlings in my backyard. If that's what I looked at was paying for rent for a home was it's like $3,000. I know some of you guys are throwing up right now and probably crapping your pants. Yeah, it's Sunnyside, California. Southern California and San Diego, the medium is around $3,000 for something even remotely something with a backyard. But what I started to do is I started to look at, well, Home Depot and the hardware stores got seedlings for sale for $5 a piece. Can I produce these for half that, right? So I devised myself a way with some automatic irrigation misting systems where I can actually use soil blocks. I don't need any plastic or anything like that. I have tons of seed that I've been saving for my own gardens, and literally I can sell these at $2.50 a pop. I'm able to create about 1,000 seeds per tray, 1,000 seedlings the same size as Home Depot. And if I sold these for $2.50 a piece, I forgot what the math came out. I think it was about 8 trays, one of these about 8,000 seedlings, and or more. I can't remember what it was exactly. I'm on the side of the road, guys, here on my lunch break. But it basically could offset almost half my rent, just that alone. All right. So I want to stop right there. And I want to show you guys, reiterate what I was saying. I'm producing seedlings, and I'm making somewhere around $1,500 a month on these seedlings, if not more. Right. I'm making my own. I'm getting my own eggs. I'm getting my own chickens. We didn't even mention quail. I'm selling those eggs to my neighbors, so I'm basically breaking free or making cash. I'm making cash on my fermented foods. I've got an auxiliary dwelling unit in the back. I've got a junior ADU in the front. Look at this whole system that we're creating right now. And when we blueprint this out, we start adding more sustainability to this thing where we're capturing rainwater. Maybe we're getting some solar panels to produce energy just for our refrigerator and freezer, not the entire house, building our own systems on-grid, kind of off-grid, right? Kind of sharing here, lowering all of these demand, using such things as a rocket mass stove. We start knocking off all our dependency on this whole entire system, because guys, this system is completely backwards. I want to go right back to the whole beginning of why I did this particular episode. We are working for a house that we spend more waking hours out of, and that we don't. And when most Americans come home, they want to go to the beach, the parks, the movies. Their home that they're paying so much money for or renting, they want to get out on their day off, where we can create an entire paradise and actually flip this whole thing around where it's become an asset now, not a liability. And again, one more time, not if you just own a house, if you're renting as well. You can literally go rent a house and actually turn it into a business. Granted, if make sure that it's zoned for that type of thing where you could have chickens and things like that. Do an Airbnb in a bedroom, right? Tell your landlord, this is exactly what my intentions are. Can I do this? Keep searching until you find one. We can literally turn this into a business so we don't even have to go to work anymore. Guys, everything could be done. We need to do everything the opposite of what we're doing now, because all it is an energy vampire. I want to leave you guys with this with real estate. The Latin definition of mortgage is a death grip. Mort meaning grip. Death. Engage meaning grip. Go look it up for yourself. It's called the death grip. We don't have to live underneath in the throes of this death grip. we can actually flip everything around. Like the meaning of this whole entire show is everything is done backwards. We can flip it around. We can start making things work more in our favor and start living our lives more in an assets, I would say, mentality, a mindset, and start making things actually pay us back. Start getting an ROI on life instead of us giving the ROI, giving the money to the big man, to Big Brother, right? We can flip this all around if we get the right type of mindset and actually start living a very good, healthy life, a happy life, right? And utilizing the I would say, for lack of a better definition, the monster against itself. As we learned in martial arts, when somebody gives you a blow, the first thing they do is to teach you is to deflect that blow and throw the energy back onto your opponent, right? Leave your emotions out of all of this stuff. Yes, a lot of things are screwed up, but if we think about these strategize our lives, we can actually turn this whole thing around to work in our favor. And now we're moving from a liability standpoint of living to an assets, to a ROI, to a return on investment of life, right? And repairing nature right along the way. That's what I think, guys. I got to get back to work. I blabbered off too long. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, please.